With there being so many different types of rides, roller coasters, and theme parks out there, it isn't a surprise that you can find a variety of differing opinions in the community, such as Flying Fish being better than Nemesis. So today I'm tasking myself with reacting to all of your controversial theme park opinions, using this scale to judge how much of a hot take I think they really are. Brace yourselves, because this is going to be a roller coaster of a ride. Okay, I just need to shut up now. I know I glaze this ride a lot, but I think Velocity at Flamingo Land is better than Mumbo Jumbo. Some people might agree, but most of my friends think Mumbo Jumbo is better. You know what? I can see where you're coming from with this one. Although Mumbo Jumbo does have a more interesting layout, it can be pretty uncomfortable with those strange over-the-shoulder restraints. The trains on Velocity aren't great either, but the layout is arguably less jarring and starts with a fun launch instead of a lift hill. The Smiler is the best ride at Alton Towers. Ooh, I'm not sure if I agree with that one. I mean, if you're into inversions and the creepy theme, then I can see where you're coming from. However, I find the layout a bit rough and too repetitive to call it the best coaster in the park. I think Walking Dead the ride at Thorpe Park gets too much hate. It's a fun ride. Walking Dead the ride gets way too much hate, but I wish people appreciated the theming a bit more. It's so underrated. Nemesis Inferno over Reborn. Now, although it really hurts me to say this, as I'm a massive Thorpe Park fan, Reborn has the edge for the theming and the coaster's interaction with the landscape. That being said, Inferno definitely deserves more praise for its unique pre-lift section, cool jungle theme, and intense finale. Colossus is way better than Saw. I couldn't agree more, mate. Colossus absolutely clears that piece of steel. Keeping it family friendly, guys. Oblivion has the best drop in the UK. I think it's got the second best drop behind Hyperia due to that coaster's insane airtime. The anticipation hanging over the edge on Oblivion is crazy. You know what else is crazy? Wicker Man is overrated. Well, if you would have said this after my first ever ride on the coaster where I was sat towards the front, I would have agreed. I found it lacked a bit of intensity and actually gave me a bit of a headache. But after my second ride on the back row later that day, I was blown away by the insane laterals and airtime, all combined with the awesome theming and pre-show. As a result, I would put it as neutral, not overrated or underrated. Vampire is jolty and slightly boring. Yeah, I mean the Vampire is a little jolty and it does meander in parts, but I think that adds to its charm and lets you appreciate the feeling of flying through the trees. But maybe I'm just being weird. Be sure to subscribe for more interactive videos like this, but let's move on to the next one. Hyperia is only miles better than anything else in the UK, in the very back. Yeah, I agree with you on this one. Icon, Nemesis Reborn, and Stealth are probably its closest competitors, but the amazing airtime on Hyperia, especially in the back row, just takes it to another level. The theming, on the other hand, isn't exactly miles better. The Thorpe Park shark cabins are actually really fun. I'm kind of curious to see what the shark cabins are like, but it just feels a bit pointless as I literally live under 25 minutes away from the park. Also, Nemesis Reborn is not the best night ride at Alton Towers. That's a good one, but I'm curious now, what is the best night ride? Is it Wicker Man because of the fire? Or maybe 13 would be cool going through the woods? Let me know in the comments. Colossus is so much better than Sick. Well, I definitely think the theming, landscaping, and general vibe of Colossus is miles better than Sick. And surprisingly, there have been quite a few complaints of the lap bars being uncomfortable on Sick during the Heartline rolls. I think we should start a Colossus clan, guys. My unpopular opinion, Vortex is the best flat ride at Thorpe Park. Now, I'm going to have to think about this one. If your stomach can handle intense flat rides, then I can totally see why you would say Vortex is the best. But it actually makes me feel sick. I know I'm getting unk status, guys. Bro literally had to sit down for 40 minutes after. So for that reason, my favourite flat ride has to be either Rush or Detonator, as neither of them make me feel sick. Colossus isn't that bad. Colossus isn't bad, it's incredible.
Please stand clear, the gates are about to close.
Megaphobia RIP is better than Wicker Man. Guys, an RIP in the chat for Megaphobia. I'm so gutted about this coaster closing. Although I covered it in some of my past videos, I never actually had the chance to ride it. The drops certainly look brilliant, and the layouts might have been slightly longer than Wicker Man's too, with some stronger airtime. I have another Flamingo Land one. I think the drop on Mumbo Jumbo is better than the first inversion. I feel like people don't talk about the first drop on Mumbo Jumbo enough. It's literally 112 degrees steep. I think that in itself makes it better than the dive loop and downwards inline twist later on in the layout. Though I do quite like the sound of the downwards inline twist. Downwards inline twist. Downwards inline twist. Twist. Grand National has stronger airtime than Hyperia, but Hyperia is easily the best coaster in the UK by far. Now this one is a hard one to judge as they are two very different coasters. Grand National definitely contains more traditional airtime hills than Hyperia, but Hyperia in my opinion has more crazy airtime than Grand National, with some of its out of this world elements. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree. But yes, it certainly is the best coaster in the UK. The Smiler on any row other than the front is rougher than Colossus and Soar. Another hard one to comment on as it really depends on the day, apart from those final 3 inversions at the end of the layout. And with Colossus, if you have your head forwards, it isn't rough at all. Way smoother than Soar. Please don't come for me in the comments. Soar is smoother than Colossus by a mile. Yeah, sorry mate, but I feel like I can prevent the headbanging on Colossus by putting my head forwards. But whatever I do on Soar, especially after that mid-course brake run. Back row of Hyperia is better than front row, as that first drop is insane, plus the other elements are so much more intense in the back. I can for sure see why you prefer the back row for all those reasons you've mentioned. For me though, I just love the uninterrupted views at the front, especially when you go down the first drop. That's not to say though that the back row is any worse, the front just feels more special for me. Nemesis Reborn and Stealth are better than Hyperia. I see why you could put Nemesis Reborn above Hyperia if you're really into immersive theming, but in terms of stealth, I would like to know what makes you take it over Hyperia. The launch is amazing, there's no doubt about it, however it isn't exactly the longest coaster. The big one is better than Hyperia. Now this is controversial. I think I remember you saying from your video that it's so bad it's good, and I mean, I guess so. The drop on the big one is certainly crazy, especially towards the back, but I just can't justify putting it above Hyperia. After the drop, I feel like the big one turns into a bit of a monorail, whereas Hyperia is action-packed from start to finish with some really brilliant elements. Odyssey at Fantasy Island is possibly a top 10 UK coaster. On the surface, Odyssey at Fantasy Island looks like a nightmare. You know what else is a nightmare? Paying £6.99 for a meal deal at WH Smith's.
Unexpected item.
This giant Vekoma SLC does have a pretty impressive drop, and it isn't quite as rough as regular SLCs, so I can sort of see where you're coming from. And the big one's drop on the back row is better than any row on Hyperia's drop except the front. I mean, it is pretty good if you're into unhinged drops, but I like how Hyperia's is a lot more comfortable. Stealth at Thorpe Park is massively overrated. Launch coasters in general are overrated. Okay, now this is a good controversial opinion. Do I share the same thoughts though? Probably not. Stealth is overrated. Ouch, that hurts a bit as a hydraulic launch nerd. But I guess if you're queuing 2 hours for an 18-second experience, then I sort of get the hate. And in terms of launch coasters in general being overrated, if you're into anticipation building lift hills, then yes, launch coasters do underperform in that aspect, but I feel like they're essential to build some really creative layouts. The Walking Dead The Ride is better than Nemesis Inferno. Wow, another controversial one. I wish there was a way I could do this live so I could ask you guys for your reasonings, but watch this space. It could be argued that Walking Dead The Ride is a more immersive experience, but I'm struggling here. Oh, I see you've replied. Not due to theming, but ride experience, as it is like a toboggan. Wow, I've never heard that before, but, you know, fair enough. It does have a slightly different feel to it, the way you sort of slide around in those plastic trains. Enzo over Hyperia. I can understand your opinion as long as you get a good spin. I've heard it actually gives you a taste of what ride happiness is like. Mauer spinners are better than Max spinners. Well, the compact form of Mauer spinners definitely allows them to have more quirky features like the trick track elements on the Windjazz coasters at Phantasialand. In addition, with the opportunity for them to interact more with their surroundings, like Dragon's Fury winding around the land of the dragons. But unfortunately, I don't think any Mauer spinning coaster could rival a Mack Extreme spinner such as Ride to Happiness. Trust me guys, although it sounds like it, I don't have an obsession with Ride to Happiness. So there we have it, lots of great controversial opinions. A massive thank you to everyone who has left something for me to react to. It has been a lot of fun. And also thanks for supporting the channel. We're over 1,500 subscribers. That's amazing, and it's all down to you for building such a lovely community. I mean, you deal with my awful upload schedule, so... And if you missed the post, be sure to leave your own controversial opinions in the comments down below. And subscribe for more videos just like this. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.